There's the perfect intro to this build.
Getting on a square nose hood.
Rob's like, this hood ain't going on here. What a turd. What is wrong with this thing?
It's this thing right here.
That stupid this or this?
This.
Oh, this tab?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know squat about stand-up. I don't even know why I'm touching it. I don't know anything about a stand-up ski. Alright, I got a brand new project for you guys. It's me, Josh, here. This isn't my project. This is Jacob's project, winkety wink, actually Rob's project. You'll recognize this hull, the 1200 Superjet. This is the old Mark 1 hull. This is the one that actually ran really well before Jacob switched the motor to a different hull, and then all the problems happened on that cursed hull. But it is just your standard square nose Superjet, and this is going to be kind of like almost like a freestyle build, but I guess more of like a surf build. So the goal of this build is kind of a surf build with a rockered front and a chopped rear. So I just wanted to give you guys a good look at what this ski looks like before this project really gets started. Obviously it's just your standard square nose. This hull didn't really have any modification like the Mark II does of the triple swap Superjet. So if you want to see that, just check out the video of that. I'll just throw it up here on the screen for you. And there you go. So hopefully we'll be able to show you kind of the big transformation of what it looks like when it's done. I'm gonna pop the hood for you guys real quick. 701 Yamaha is the proposed engine at this point, because this has nothing in it right now. Okay, there you go. Inside, it's just kind of nasty. Just exactly where Jacob left it when the 1200 came out of here. All right, guys, this just escalated very quickly here. This was just supposed to be introduction to the build.
Sit lower.
And all of a sudden, we have an engine. Jacob is concentrating hard, so he can't give you any funny one-liners right now.
Actually, my shoulder does kind of hurt right now from working on that stupid hood somehow, maybe.
Do you believe
In what?
that this is gonna fit in a Superjet?
Oh, for sure. Easy.
Easy.
If the 1100 can fit into the C-Rat, then this can fit in a Superjet.
Well, okay, yeah, so basically it probably fits in a Superjet.
Probably fits. You heard it here.
On that one,
Plenty
it's
of
gonna be
space.
wider on the bottom.
I personally have
where those
no
two
idea. I
sections
know this
are.
engine's out of a crash,
And
but
from what I can tell,
I don't know diddly
if I
squat
have
about it.
Even that much, about that much.
What does
probably
Jason
what
know?
it is.
It's
Probably
weird that
enough.
someone would take this out of a crash.
All right, well, if you're just tuning in today, me and Rob are working on Rob's surf build. That's why I said it. It's Rob's, not mine, but we're building it together. So we stole this 61X 701 from Jason, just sitting around, and we're looking at pipe options. So we just had these, this is pipes that I had laying around, and this guy right here, I believe is a West Coast 750 XIR, did not fit in here. This guy rubbed against the side of the hull. Right now we got a stock 650 SX exhaust, and we're running the Kaufman manifold for mock-up to see what we got and what would work. And so right now we're thinking, okay, well, we have the other 62T with this exhaust on it. That's at my house that Rob is considering a 62T with one of these pipes, and as you can see, the exit's right out the front. And if we rocker this thing, we're not gonna have the room in the front. So if we can do something like this and have like a resonator style like this, you know, then we can save the stuff in the nose. We can have room. We'll just do a small tank, and then we don't have to worry about room when we rocker it. So that's where we are here. This is about 30 minutes into us ever thinking about this ski, or at least for myself. But because I don't know, as you can see, this was the original 1200 Superjet Mark 1. The Mark II is still at my house, and so I decided to give this thing to Rob when he told me he wanted to build a surf ski. So, right now, we're just trying to look at our options and figure it out. So, we're going to need to find a pump. So, we don't have a pump for this thing, but we're going to have to make a handle pole and that type of stuff, and so we'll see how it is. We're considering how much you could take off one of these. This is 4 inches here, and so if you took it straight back 4 inches, you'd barely be going into probably this metal that's laminated in here. But we're thinking take 4 inches here and then cut straight back to this little boss end, and yeah, that's how we're thinking about it. So and then we'd have 4 ride plate bolts, and you know what, if it's too short, you could always have the back of the ski be here, and then you could have your ride plate be like 10 feet long sticking off the back, and you'd gain all that stability back, or the porpoise. You could unporpoise your ski by doing that. But if you chop it, so we are thinking, you know, rocker probably is going to take the nose, roll it up to like there. So, or I don't know, hopefully somewhere in there. So with the shorter ski, you lose the stability. But if you can get the front to rear bias right so that it's not too much of a porpoise, and then you can gain straight line stability by raising up these strakes, or you can just weld some really gnarly skegs into your ride plate. And then we are thinking some aggressive tubbies on the front, and I would imagine making them, because yeah, if you make them, you can get what you want for sure. So, and obviously Rob's going to be getting rid of this 3.5-inch exhaust. That exhaust was not successful. So everybody, there were people that were like, man, you don't have enough back pressure with your 1200. When I straight piped it and ran this exhaust, it was fine, but also it was really loud and really awful to work on. But then when I went to the stock round nose exhaust on the Mark II 1200 Superjet, which is this size, when I went to that size exhaust with the stock round nose water box, I didn't really lose, it didn't lose any power, but what happened was I got a impeller that was basically defective, and so it was like a weird 140 mil Yamaha impeller that I got, and I was like, I didn't look at it when I installed it or something. And I mean, yeah, what are you gonna think? Okay, you're gonna find a 140 millimeter impeller for your Yamaha? That's really weird. So I put it together and it was horrible, but I couldn't figure out what was going on until I took it apart. So, and then let's see, I did eventually get a good impeller with it, but it wasn't that great. And then I put this high compression head on it that blew it up because it was probably for like 110, and I had no idea what it was for, and we were probably checking the compression with garbage gauges or something, so when it read 120, it was really like 190 or 200 or something, so that's why it blew up, and that's a nice little rabbit trail for you. But this is what we're looking at for chopping this baby. And yeah, Rob's had 550s. He had a square nose. That was his last stand-up from the 90s. And then he wasn't into skis for a long time until he met me. And then after he met me, this happens. It's all over. His garage is full of jet skis. And so, let's see. He had a 750 SXI. Yeah. So Rob's had a lot of stuff, but he always remembers his square nose Superjet as his awesome ski, and he did a lot of racing in the 90s or in the 80s, I guess, with the 550s, and then I guess he was kind of out of it by the time he did the square nose, so he was more of a surf guy with the square nose anyway. So this is going to be like a taking him back to old times. So he's going to build it old school, and it's going to be cool. Guys,
Kind of do it out here because of the.
what do you see?
And I gotta turn the fans on.
I see cutting tools, and so it's about to get real. I didn't realize or anticipate that it was about to get exciting here, but it is. So we're about to go back to this, and we're gonna see how this 3.5-inch exhaust that I put in pops right out.
I don't know about right now.
Well, you know, sometimes it's a little sad when crap you put together finds an end, but it's not an end, it's a rebirth. Turf job that I did on there, Rob's ripped off. Rob's telling me, I think I was there at your house one time when you rode this thing, and yeah, I think he was. Or at least you heard about it, because it was really loud.
No, I remember it being very loud.
Yeah.
It was that ski then, right?
Yeah. You know what? You guys probably haven't seen the video of when it was the Mark I Superjet 1200, but if you find it, I feel like I remember it was a harder video to find, because I wanted to watch it the other day and I couldn't find it. So I feel like we had a video of like when we bought a bunch of skis and we just rode them all, and that was, I think, the best footage we had of it, and it was better than any of the Mark II footage too. So I don't know, if you guys look long enough you can find it, but this thing really ripped when it was going, but the hood didn't have any baffling in it at the time, so I was really worried about tipping it and filling the whole engine compartment with water. But when you can see the bottom and it's only like 6 feet deep where you ride, you worry a little bit less about sinking your ski. I don't know what he's going to do with all this nose stuff, but I guess it don't matter that I totally cut a hole in that here for the slipping in of my stupid lithium battery. That really didn't work out. The lithium battery did not work out very well in the end for me with this. Now, Jason has 2 lithium batteries. Maybe they're going to work out good for him. But I am not sold on the lithiums for this thing. But I do have a lithium in my Husqvarna FC250 dirt bike. Hasn't gotten messed up yet. So maybe lithiums can be fine if they came stock on the thing that you bought. But right now, I don't really want to mess with them. But if anybody figures out how you can have a lithium battery and have it not be a pain in the butt and suck and get ruined, as soon as everybody's doing it, I'll start doing it. Okay, so today we're filming actually a lot of stuff at the same time, but I made an observation that the internet will like. So the bottom of these 550s is actually kind of similar to these square noses. Their overall size of the square nose is bigger, of course, and they have a far superior pump. But, you know, I know that the 650s are very similar to the 550s. The 650 SX, though, this front section kind of comes to a V, which I'm not sure what the effect on the handling is for that. But, and then if you go over to the round nose Superjet, which we'll do mine because the bottom of it is scratched to heck. So obviously the front end is widened because they added this kind of built-in sponson on the front. but the center section is the same shape. You can see where there's residue from when I splashed the front of this thing. It's what a haggard for what it is. That this thing is so haggard, but coming to the back, I mean, obviously, so these strakes are about flush with the ride plate, which the 550 and the square nose do not have. As you can see, this is about, they're definitely lower. I'm pretty sure back in the day, what racers did was they sharpened this up as much as the rules would allow or not allow, because probably nobody ever knew the difference if they did that. But that was probably how they got the good handling on 550s back in the day. That and putting a buttload of weight in the nose. We're thinking about getting real now. I like what you did there. Cut the second one. Yeah. I think
if I don't like it, then I can.
Right, but I think you're gonna like it. I think that cut you're gonna like. Yeah. The end of the 1200 Superjet. 1200 Superjet in the beginning of a new thing. Huh, that's cool looking. Yeah.
Wall art.
Oh yeah, wall art. You know what? We could just get the old back bumper and stick it on there.
That on there.
Put any
Do a different pipe.
something there. Get an old nozzle and just drill it into the wall.
Mount it on a piece of plywood or something.
Hey, we could put a little neon light at the top that says JetSki Brothers.
I'm gonna make this for you for Christmas.
Oh my gosh! How amazing! I'm so excited. Okay, but guys, now you can look at this. Hey, this is interesting. Look, it's like they just had a factory foam piece. They just slammed in there. They didn't just like, maybe they didn't just shoot it full of foam like we have probably all thought. Maybe if you cut these, maybe you could just pull the foam pieces straight out the back. Like maybe these bottom ones would just pull straight out the back. Okay, maybe not. I don't want to try it, but
We'll see when we get there.
yeah, we're not there yet. But that's a shortened 3-inch, about a 3-inch chop.
Well, it could, it steps out. So.
Yeah, it depends on how you look at it. Overall, I mean, that's
I don't want to do any more. Than
from
that.
there to, yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's nice. What kind of a shelf can we make out of that? Okay. Well, that's great. As you guys can see, we're not stopping. And by we, I mean Rob. Ooh, ching chira ring, yeah. 93. Yeah, yeah. So the nice thing about this for Rob is he doesn't have to buy any aluminum for it yet.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Now you can really get the nice flex out of the tray.
Get a long blade.
Yep.
Get some foam out of the way.
The film today because it's action packed. I'm not dicking around with twiddly little garbage on the bullet anymore. But check it out, boys. Rob has ripped this whole back thing to pieces. And the only thing left from my gigantic 3.5-inch exhaust is this giant hole. So, interesting, and yeah. Nice and light on the back too. Wet foam in the Superjets. That's a big thing, because this stuff is so wet. No, it's not wet at all. But I know that that's a thing for people, but I've never experienced it. Yeah, she's a shorty. Man, this will look a lot less stupid when this is cut at an angle that looks right. Instead of this, you know, when you go like that. Or whatever you do. Yeah.
I have no idea.
Yep. Yeah. Hi. Rob's wife doesn't want to be on the camera. But, yeah, that's what we got. It's all chopped up. Chop. Well, what do you think? Rob just said that the square nose is the ugliest ski.
These are the ugliest they ever made.
Yeah, I think he's so right. I mean, what were they thinking? Like, this is the most stupid looking design for a stand-up. Like, you got this, like, beak front
All
thing.
this convoluted.
Ghetto garbage.
Yeah, all this. Why did they...
Like, even, okay, if they did something smooth like the round nose over there, they got that complicated nose cowl piece. They could have just, made that into the fiberglass. It would have looked, anything would have looked better than this.
Yeah.
But also, at the same time, I kind of have grown to appreciate the ugliness, the ugly beauty of the square nose. And you know what? I kind of don't care a lot of the times what my skis look like, unless if it's really already like really cool and it's like no reason not to make it a really cool looking build. I you know, obviously I do like making it look cool, but I won't. You know, for me, it's not all about looks. You got to have the performance, and since these are really sweet skis that. I mean, this handles way better than the Kawasaki equivalent for its time, so... And it's lighter and better and, you know, just that type of thing. But yeah, I just thought it was a good thing to talk about. These are really ugly skis, these square noses. For this edition of Rob's Square Nose Surf Build, so if you care about it and you want it, to look at the videos that we're going to make about it, like, you can subscribe and then you might... have the videos pop up when you're looking for videos at work for YouTube because you're bored and you don't want to do your job. But
and tell me what I'm doing wrong.
Yeah.
Tell me now before I get too far.
That's right. Tell him now. How many did he take off the right amount?
Or too much or too little?
He wants this thing to be good, like a crash.
Well, it'll never be that.
Oh, not with that attitude. Okay. Guys.